What do you want? How did you get in here?
Murder in Chelsea. Killer makes away with toy soldiers. Ashley Stedman, noted author and scholar, was slain last night by an unknown assailant who apparently entered by a window in the study where Mr. Stedman was working. Now, why would anybody want to commit murder for some toy soldiers? What do you know about this, Seymour?
Oh, I'm just following up on the report from my paper, Captain Drummond. I called Inspector McIver at Scotland Yard, but he wouldn't give me any more information than you've got right here.
That's Mac, all right. Never give anything away. It's the Scotch in him. And I don't mean whiskey.
Come, old boy. You do the Scotch an injustice. Well, the last time I was in Edinburgh, I didn't pay for a single drink.
I don't believe you.
I was on the wagon. The door. Hello.
Hello, Algy.
Come in. Hello, Drummond. Seymour.
Morning,
We're just on the subject of Scotch. Interested?
No, thanks. It's a bit too early for me. So don't let me stop you.
This time of day, it's really just conversation with us.
Glad you stopped by. Drop yourself anywhere.
I say, Drummond, I don't know quite how to begin this.
Oh. Trouble, Philip?
I'm afraid.
Look here, if this is private, why
Not at
Seymour,
all. I've got a problem, and I thought perhaps you could help me.
Oh, of course. What is it?
You've read of old Stedman's being murdered for those two lead soldiers?
Those are not the same two.
No, but they're quite similar. Almost identical.
How do you know?
I've seen them. I knew the Stedmans quite well.
And similarity between the soldiers is what worries you?
Well, that's not all. Last week I got a phone call and someone offered to buy them. When I refused, it became rather threatening.
Did he identify himself?
No. But ever since then, I've been followed about by a rather well-set-up bruiser. 40-ish, thinning hair, with a face like an ex-boxer.
Did he speak to you or interfere with you or...
No. But this morning, I received another call threatening me with the same fate of Stedman's if I didn't come across with the soldiers, and warning me to stay away from Scotland Yard.
Well, what did you do?
I hung up.
Jolly good for you. That'll teach the beggar he can't intimidate you.
I'm afraid he has. That's why I'm here.
Did he follow you here?
Oh, I managed to give him the slip. He's probably hanging about my house waiting for me to come home.
I say, Hugh, what do you make of it? All this fuss and feather about a couple of toy soldiers.
May I see them, please? How did you happen to buy these?
Oh, I've had them for some time. I'm a bit of a collector, you know, of early Anglo-Saxon relics. Those two date back about 900 years to the time of William the Conqueror and the Norman invasion.
That would make them quite valuable as a collector's piece.
But hardly enough to insure murder. They cost me £6. At most, they're worth £7. I submit that £6 or £7 is not much incentive for murder.
I agree with you. Are you sure they have no other value?
What do they have? They're made of lead, solid lead, all the way through with a coating of paint on the outside.
Maybe on the inside.
Oh, no, Algy, no. Not concealed gems.
That's right. I took the trouble to find out.
Well, there must be something about them.
All I know is they're uselessly dangerous to have around.
Now, what do you want me to do, Philip? Serve as your bodyguard?
Hardly that. But since you've had more experience with this sort of thing, dabbling in police work and all that, I thought perhaps you might have a suggestion.
I'd take them to Scotland Yard.
After that warning? No, thanks. I'd rather not risk it.
Well, I have a suggestion. Suppose you leave these with me.
Well, really, old man, I can hardly ask you to stick your neck out where I'm afraid to.
I've been doing it for so long, I don't feel comfortable any other way.
I say, Hugh, you're not serious. Why, you'd be setting yourself up as a pitcher.
Precisely, really, Drummond.
Seymour, go down to Fleet Street, will you? And get one of your newspaper friends to run a red-hot news flash. Bulldog Drummond buys antique lead soldiers from Philip Coleman.
I'll attend to it at once, sir.
Good. I have my car outside. I'll give you a lift.
Well, thank you.
And Drummond, many thanks. I'll keep in touch.
By all means.
Cheerio, Algy.
Goodbye.
Just a couple of toy soldiers. Who'd want to kill anybody for those?
Algy, a lot of people do funny things. Why? That's what makes it interesting.
What do you want?
Mr. Longworth?
Yes.
Package from Captain Drummond.
Drummond?
Yes, sir. Sign here.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. McDaniel's Toy Shop? More soldiers. To Algy. Dear Algy, these are for you to play with. Have fun drumming. Well. Oh, the drumming. Such a fool. People here? You wait here. All day long, you can't do a thing.
Captain Drummond,
Well, as a
I'm
matter...
Estelle Gourdet. May I come in?
Yes, of course, yes, yes, please do. What can I, sorry, but what that is, won't you please come right in?
Thank you.
It was so nice of you to drop by. What can I, that is, I mean, would you care to sit down?
Thank you.
Cigarette? Cigarette? Light.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have waited, shouldn't I?
It's all right. Can I get you something else, a drink or a tea?
No, thank you. Just a few minutes of your time. That's all I want.
Well, of course. I'm delighted. All the time in the world. It's a pleasure, I assure you. There's all the time in the world.
You're very kind. But then I've always found, especially in my business, that the bigger the man, the more gracious he is.
Well,
You quite live up to your reputation, Captain Drummond.
it's very good of you to say so. What is your business, if I may ask? Well, not that I mean to pry, you know.
Oh, it's quite all right. I was just about to come to it. I'm a journalist for the Empire Gazette.
Oh?
And my editor assigned me to check on the story that you've just acquired a pair of soldiers similar to those for which Dr. Stedman was killed.
Yes, that's quite right. Oh, it's a bit of a hobby of mine, you know.
Murder or toy soldiers?
Both.
Well, your fame as a criminologist is well known, of course. But I fancy Drummond, the toy collector, presents a brand new facet most of your public never even suspected. Would you mind telling me something about it? How did you happen to begin?
It all began a very long time ago. When I was about... I say, old chap, I'd like you to meet a... That is...
Don't tell me, I know. You are Mr. Longworth.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I say, old boy, your reputation has preceded you.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, don't be so modest, Mr. Longworth. To anyone who has followed the career of Bulldog Drummond, the name of Algy Longworth is equally well known.
Is that so?
Well, of course, Captain Drummond.
Well...
And I should think you would be the first one to give him all the credit he deserves.
Oh, but I do. Don't I, old boy?
Definitely, old chap. And now, would you mind presenting me?
Oh, of course, Hugh. Algy, this is Miss Estelle Gourdet of the Empire Gazette.
How do you do?
How do you do? So you're a journalist?
I came to interview Captain Drummond about the soldiers. He was just about to tell me how he began collecting them.
Yes, by all means, tell us. It's quite a story. Go on, Drummond. Tell the lady.
Well, it all began a long time ago when I was about... It all started when a friend of mine sent me a set of toy soldiers. As a matter of fact, there they are now.
Oh, may I see them?
Of course.
stunning. They're beautifully made. Now that I've seen them, I can understand your enthusiasm. They're well worth collecting. I may even go in for it myself.
This is quite a hobby. I don't know what I'd do without it. It helps to pass the time, you know, in between murders.
What's your theory about this murder?
What?
Do you think there's any connection between it and the soldiers?
Well, one doesn't like to discuss these things for publication, you know. Theories are all very well, but the law demands proof. And until one has that, there's...
What about you, Mr. Longworth? Would you care to be quoted?
Oh, in matters like this, I always take my cue from Drummond. Besides, I hardly think anything I have to say would interest you.
Anything you have to say would interest me, Mr. Longworth.
You're very flattering. But I'm afraid what I want to say will have to wait for another occasion.
I hope I'm there.
You will be.
At the date. Thank you so much, Captain Drummond. You were most helpful, and I'm ever so grateful.
Not at all.
And what's more, I think you're sweet.
Yes, thank you.
I'll be looking for your story. The Gazette, did you say?
Yes, of course I don't know if my editor will consider it worth printing.
I'm sure he will.
I wish I shared your confidence. Good day, Mr. Longworth.
Goodbye, Miss Corday. It was so nice meeting you. Oh. Well, Captain Drummond?
I say, Hugh, old man, I didn't really mean to impersonate you. It's just that she walked in taking it for granted that I was you, and before I could contradict her, well, I found myself enjoying it. You don't realize it, old man, but being Bulldog Drummond gives you a tremendous edge. Why, I've never been half so successful with the ladies as mere Algy Longworth.
You really think the name makes a difference?
What just happened proves it. Why, until you walked in, I'd never made so much headway before with such a gorgeous creature. Ah, the devil.
Toothache?
I should have asked her if I might call her.
Oh, don't worry about it. She'll call you.
What makes you so sure?
Just a hunch, old boy, just a hunch.
You mean that she'll call me? Bulldog Drummond buys murder toys. Daughter testifies at Stedman inquest. Miss Stedman is quite a tasty dish, eh?
Yes, isn't she?
Now, if I were really Bulldog Drummond, all I'd have to do would be to drop in on her casually, tell her I was investigating her father's murder, and before you know it, I'd be fighting her off.
You really think so?
Of course I do.
All right. You'll have the chance. From now on, the case is yours. I'm Algy Longworth, and you're Bulldog Drummond.
I am? Well...
Come on, Drummond, you've got a date.
I have? Where am I going?
Fight the lady off.
Oh.
Hold the fort, Seymour.
All right, sir. Goodbye.
All right, Captain, do your stuff.
It's just my luck. No one's home.
Let me try.
Yes.
Miss Stedman, I'm Hugh Drummond, Captain Drummond, sometimes referred to as Bulldog Drummond.
Yes.
And this is my very good friend, Mr. Longworth, Algy Longworth.
How do you do, Mr. Longworth?
How do you do?
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Oh, may we come in?
I suppose so.
We'd like to ask a few questions.
Questions? Are you from the police?
No, of course not. Do you mean you never heard of Bulldog? I mean, you never heard of me?
I'm afraid I haven't, Captain Drummer.
Drummond.
Whether you have or not, Miss Stedman, I'm sure it doesn't matter. If you could give us just a few minutes, we'll explain why we're here.
Why, certainly, Mr. Longworth. Come into the library. Won't you gentlemen sit down?
Yes, thank you. I'll sit here.
And now, Mr. Longworth?
Oh, I'm sure Captain Drummond would prefer to explain our visit himself.
Yes. Well, it's this way, Miss Stedman. If you've already read the afternoon papers, you have found out that I have just acquired two lead soldiers, very similar to those in your father's possession.
You have them with you?
Oh. Well,
May I see them, please?
Certainly.
Yes, they are very similar.
But they're not the same.
No, these figures are different. The similarities are in style and workmanship. Very likely they're from the same original set of 13.
There's a set of 13 soldiers? How do you know that?
From my father. Together with the soldiers, he acquired at the same auction a page of rare old Anglo-Saxon manuscript. It was a palimpsest.
What is that?
Palimpsest? That's a sort of parchment.
Several earlier writings have been covered up so it could be used again. He restored the original writing and was quite excited at what he discovered.
What was it?
I don't know exactly. He was engaged in translating it when he was killed.
Where is it now? Do you have it?
No, it was stolen with the soldiers.
And there was something on that page about a set of 13 soldiers?
There was a drawing, I saw it myself, of 13 soldiers. 2 of them identical with the ones in my father's possession.
Were those 2 also in the drawing?
I couldn't say. I don't remember the drawing that well.
You say he was excited at what he discovered. Did it have something to do with the soldiers?
I think so. He didn't want to commit himself until he was more certain. But he acted as though they were exceedingly valuable. And so did the man who came to the house and wanted to buy them.
Someone wanted to buy them? Who was he?
I don't know whether I should have mentioned it. The police cautioned me not to release it to the
Oh, it's
newspapers.
perfectly safe with us. We don't even read the newspapers. Oh, just joking. Sorry.
The captain's only failing. No sense of humor. Now, about this man who wanted to buy the soldiers. Can you tell us anything more about him?
Yes, his whole manner was rather odd. He arrived unannounced. I was just going upstairs when I heard the doorbell.
I wish to see Dr. Stedman.
Is he expecting you?
I have business with him.
Well, if you give me your name, I could tell.
Is he in?
What is it, Cynthia?
Yes. I'd like a few words with you.
Well, I'm quite busy just now.
It's important. It concerns the 2 soldiers you recently acquired.
Oh. Well, if you'll step in and take a seat.
I'll come directly to the point. You have a pair of lead soldiers and a page of old manuscript. If I'm not mistaken, they're on your desk there.
You're entirely correct.
I'd like to purchase them from you.
They're not for sale.
You paid £7. I'll double that.
I'm sorry.
I'll triple it. I'll let you name your own price within reason.
Would you tell me why you're so anxious to acquire these?
For the same reason as yourself. I'm a student and collector of early Anglo-Saxon relics. Not so much from a historical and educational point of view. With me, it's more of a hobby.
A very expensive hobby at this rate.
I can afford it. Will you sell?
No.
I'll give you £50. 100.
I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid you're wasting your time.
You are a fool.
He was angry enough for anything. But whether he's the one who...
Would you know him if you saw him?
Of course. And if the police ever find him, I'll know what to do.
I'm sure you will.
Perhaps we can find him for you.
But aren't you taking a risk? If there is a connection between those soldiers and the ones my father had, your life may be in danger.
Well, that's just the point, Miss Stedman. By setting up Captain Mr. Longworth as sort of a decoy, you might say, we hope to trap the murderer into revealing himself.
But isn't that being rather unfair to Mr. Longworth?
Oh, not at all. He doesn't mind. He's used to it by now. He's one of the best decoys in London. As a matter of fact, it's one of the principal reasons I keep him about.
Very big of you, old chap. I assure you it's well worth the danger just to have the privilege of working so closely with such a great man.
I do wish you would be careful.
Oh, good old Bulldog will take care of me. Come along, Bulldog.
Oh, Miss Stedman, let's keep in touch, shall we? If anything should come up, you can always reach me at the Warwick Arms. And if you're not doing anything tonight, perhaps you'd care to join me in a spot of dinner.
I'm sorry, but I have an engagement.
Oh, too bad. Tomorrow night, then?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't make that either. You see, my evenings...
How about your afternoons? Say, lunch, would you?
I'd love to. Tomorrow at 1.
Come, at 1.
Good day, Captain Drummond.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day. Coming, Bulldog?
Did you say something, Captain Drummond?
No. No, nothing. Good day.
Good day.
No, he isn't. No, Mr. Longworth isn't in either. Would you care to leave a message? I'll be glad to. Oh, just a moment. Here they are. It's a Miss Gourdet.
Oh, I'll get it. Estelle? I mean, Miss Gourdet? Well, I don't know if Longworth can make it, but as for me, I'd be delighted. Very well, I'll ask him, if you insist. It's a date. What time shall we be there tonight? All right, and the address? Yes, I'll remember. How could I possibly forget?
I'll expect you both then. Goodbye. All right.
Perfect.
I say, you will be late.
Don't worry, she'll be there.
Of course, if you'd rather spend the evening along the couch.
Oh, no, you won't. I wouldn't dream of disappointing the enchanting Miss Gourdet.
What makes you think she'd be disappointed?
Well, judging by our experience with Miss Edmund, I'd say it isn't the Drummond name they go for. It's Elsie Longworth.
Oh, no. Now, I'll see who it is. You get your coat. Hello, Inspector.
Hello, London. If he's not, it doesn't matter. I'll have a chat with you.
Well, there's nothing I'd rather do, ordinarily. Unfortunately, I have an engagement.
Sorry, my lad, but this is official business. You'll answer a few questions here, or else down at Scotland Yard.
Hello, Mac.
Now, look here, Drummond.
Nice of you to drop in. I was wondering when you would. That paper came out several hours ago.
Very clever, aren't you? All right, that is why I'm here. Now, what about those soldiers?
What about them?
Since when are you in the habit of buying toy soldiers? And don't tell me you're a collector.
All right, I won't. But you'll have to admit that is a collection.
So, where'd you get those?
Collected them.
Which are two you obtained from Philip Coleman?
Why do you ask?
I should like to have them.
You mean you want to take them with you?
Oh, I'll return them. I'll even give you a receipt if you like.
Very generous of you. Why do you want them?
Because of their connection with the murder.
Murder? Well, what murder?
The Stedman murder, obviously.
You will have to forgive my stupidity, but I don't see anything obvious about it.
According to your statement in the newspaper here, they are from the same set as the two which were stolen from Dr. Stedman.
So?
Every murder has a motive. If Stedman was killed for a pair of these soldiers, naturally we want to find out more about them. And if you have a similar pair...
I didn't say they were similar. I've never seen the others.
Well, I'd like to see yours.
There they are.
Which one?
I don't believe I remember. I seem to have them all mixed up.
Very well. I'll take them all with me and have our experts go along.
I'm sorry, Mac. I'm afraid you won't.
Why not?
Because they happen to be my property, and I wouldn't think of letting them out of my hands.
You can't withhold evidence connected with a murder, you know.
Can you prove the connection?
Oh, so you're at it again, huh? When you learn to stop playing detective and leave that to the police?
All right, Mac, I will. But should you run into trouble and need any help, Algy here is always available.
Algy?
Yes. I'm no longer interested in crime as a hobby. And as Algy is still rather keen, I've decided to turn over to him anything in that line that comes up.
Just call me Bulldog Longworth, Inspector. At your service, night and day.
Before I take you up on that, I'll resign. And that goes for you too, Drummond. Bulldog Longworth. I'll thank you to leave my job to me.
Nice chap, McIver, but so excitable.
Come on, Hugh. Now, let's go. We'll be late as it is.
How do I look?
Enchanting.
Hello.
No. Roses are red, violets are blue. I think flowers are beautiful, and so are you.
Oh, thank you. The beautiful roses. And what have we here? Violets. My favorite flower. How sweet of you. They're perfectly beautiful. Where shall I wear them? Here? Or here?
Let's see how they look between your teeth.
I'm afraid I haven't the sarong to go with it.
Well, with what you're wearing, nobody'd ever miss it.
Would you gentlemen take off your coats and come in?
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Coleman,
Hello, Seymour.
don't go in there, sir.
Why not?
There's a burglar inside.
Burglar? Well, what are we doing here?
You mustn't disturb him.
Mustn't disturb him. I don't understand.
He's after the soldiers. Captain Drummond sent me here to follow him.
Oh, I see.
He'll be out any minute. If you'll just stay here, where he won't see us.
Of course.
That sounds fascinating.
No, it was nothing. Nothing really. And then I'll never forget Drummond's laugh. Trapped in a lonely cottage on a beach miles from nowhere by a gang of desperate killers, all set to murder him, he managed to save himself and capture the lot for the police by the clever ruse of tapping out a message in Morse code over the telephone.
But if you had access to the phone, why bother with Morse code?
By Jove, I never thought of that. I say, old boy, why did I?
They were holding a gun on you. You couldn't talk.
That's right. I knew there was a reason.
There are flats up there.
I say, Hugh, I don't think I like this.
Like what?
Playing you. I thought I'd do better. Instead, I seem to be doing worse. Why, she practically ignored me the whole evening.
It's too late to do anything about it now. Besides, I'm rather enjoying myself. I've never done better in my life.
Well, perhaps if you didn't hang around and then gave me a chance. After all, Hugh, you promised me a free hand. I say, what happened? Looks like someone's been careless. They're gone, Hugh. Philip's soldiers.
So they are. Someone's been careless, all right. You.
Me?
Yes, you. You wanted to be Drummond. You're supposed to be handling this case. Give me a free hand, you said. All right, I did, and look what happened. While you're off enjoying yourself, instead of attending to business, somebody breaks in and steals the 2 soldiers.
You're right, Hugh. It's my fault. Forgive me. If there's anything I can do,
Captain Drummond, I saw who it was. We followed him.
We?
Mr. Coleman and I. He's there watching him now.
Where?
A flat in Soho.
But I don't understand.
You will eventually. Right now, we're in a hurry. Is it still there?
No one's gone in or out.
Good. Seymour, you stay here with Philip. Algie and I are going up.
Are you sure you'll need me?
Oh, come on, Algie.
What are we going to do? Barge right in?
We'll see when we get up there.
I wish they'd let me go along on one of these things.
You'll be a lot safer right here with me.
Yes, but I should like to have done some on-the-scene reporting.
Hush. What? Why we whistling? Dark, you know. Keeps up the old courage. I'll keep it up for you. Just follow me. Right. Right. Hear anything? Awfully close, what? Someone dropped off the fire escape. No, I don't think he did. Oh. Anyone come by this way? No. What's happened? Plenty, but you wait here. No. Don't ever do that. By Jove, that's blood. Do you notice anything in the air? I know a much simpler way. What's that? The door to the other room is open. The hall door. Why didn't you say so? Hang it all, Drummond. I asked you not to interfere. And now because you have, another man has been murdered.
It's really my fault, Inspector. If I hadn't brought the soldiers to Drummond in the first place and asked for help...
You're all equally to blame. Playing detectives. What do you think Scotland Yard is for?
Well, Scotland Yard is... Excuse me, Inspector. The Stedman is here.
Sure is.
Yes, sir.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Won't you sit here,
don't
please?
sit. Thank you.
I believe you know all these gentlemen.
Yes, I do. Hello, Captain Drummond.
Hello.
Mr. Longworth. How are you, Philip?
Now, Miss Stedman, you've been to the morgue.
Yes.
I know how painful it must have been. But you realize the necessity. Did you recognize the man?
Yes, he's the one who tried to buy the soldiers and the palimpsest from my father.
And you're positive he's also the man who's been following you?
Have you identified him?
His name is Edward Vane, recently arrived from Canada. That's all we've been able to learn so far. Unless you can add to our information.
All I know, Mac, is what you tell me.
There's something I don't understand. Up until this, I thought Vane was my father's murderer. But now that he's been killed, perhaps I've been wrong.
We have our own theories, but frankly, no proof. And until we have, I'll thank you all to leave that process to Scotland Yard. If we need any further assistance, we'll call on you. Until then, good day.
Goodbye, Mac. But should you need any help, you can always call on our friend here. It's more his cup of tea than mine.
Miss Stedman, may I see you home?
Well, I haven't.
I'm sorry, old man. I've already made the offer and been accepted.
Oh.
You can take Seymour home. I have some business to attend to.
Come along, Seymour. Seymour, I've seen every day in the week. I'm not just sticking with Seymour.
Mr. Longworth. Oh, please come in.
Thank you. I hope you don't mind the liberty, but I thought I'd take a chance and see if you were in.
I'm glad you did.
I brought you a little gift.
Why, thank you. Shall I open it?
Well, that was the idea.
It's a surprise. Oh, how sweet of you. I have done more. My favorite perfume.
So I thought. You wore it last night.
You're very observant.
It's a popular perfume. In fact, last night it seemed as though I couldn't escape it. It followed me, even to a flat in Soho.
Soho?
Mm-hmm. Over the Cat and Fiddle.
Sounds quaint. Interesting. What were you doing there?
Oh, having knives thrown at me. Your aim isn't very good in the dark. You missed us by at least 2 inches. However, you seem to do much better with Mr. Vane.
I'm afraid I'm not very good at riddles. Would you mind explaining what all this is supposed to mean?
As soon as you tell me why you wanted those soldiers.
What soldiers?
Those you had stolen from my flat while you were so pleasantly entertaining us.
This is a joke. It's not very amusing.
It's at least as amusing as your story about being a member of the press. The editor of the Gazette happens to be a friend of mine. Though, of course, it wasn't really necessary to check with him. You see, I was a newspaper man myself once.
I should have known better than to think I could deceive you.
If you wanted the soldiers, all you had to do was to say so. I'd have been only too glad to give them to you.
The soldiers? But I wasn't interested in the soldiers.
Oh?
That was just an excuse.
An excuse for what?
Why, to meet you, of course. I mean, frankly, it was Captain Drummond I wanted to meet most. I'd heard so much about him. But after I'd met you both...
You're very flattering.
Not at all. But what's that about soldiers being stolen and knives being thrown at you? And did you say somebody was killed?
Yes. Mr. Edward Vane. Did you know him?
No, I don't believe so. I never even heard the name. What made you think I did?
Well, there was the matter of the perfume, added to the soldiers being stolen while we were here. All that, on top of your story about being a journalist, made Drummond think that...
I think your Drummond is a fool. Oh, I know what you'll say. He's your friend and all that, and all the things he's done. But if you ask me, he can probably thank you for his reputation. I'm sure you've done all the work and he's taken all the credit.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I would, now that I know you both. All one has to do is compare.
You're very sweet. I think you're wonderful. Lovely. Disturb yourself, my dear. I'll let you out in just a minute.
Open the door! How dare you? Let me out!
As soon as I'm finished. I have a few things to do first.
What are you doing there? I'll call.
Police? Please do. I could use a little help. Of course, it would facilitate things a little and save some time if you were to tell me where they are.
Where what is?
Soldiers and the palimpsest.
You're out of your mind. Open this door at once. That's what you're looking for. You're wasting your time.
I don't think so.
What do you mean by this?
All right, my dear, let's have it. You'll have a little explaining to do. You killed Vane for this and the soldiers.
I didn't kill him.
I suppose you weren't even there last night when it happened.
No, I wasn't. After you left, I remained here and I didn't go out.
You didn't even know he'd been murdered?
Not until you told me.
What was your relationship with him?
I was working for him. He asked me to invite you both here last night so that he could break into your flat and take the soldiers.
Why would he want them? Why would anyone want them badly enough to commit murder?
He told me they were a collector's item and very valuable.
Not that valuable.
I only know what he told me.
And now he's dead. Where are the soldiers?
I told you, he took them.
And whoever killed him took them from him.
You can search the rest of the place if you like. You won't find them here.
Those 2 soldiers plus Stedman's 2 make 4 out of a total of 13. Where are the rest?
What 13?
You mean you don't know?
No. What are you going to do? Go to Scotland Yard?
Not until I find the soldiers and discover what makes them and this so valuable.
Hello.
Hello.
May I come in?
Of course.
Thank you. Hello, Philip. Still here?
Obviously.
Oh, quite right. Silly question. Mind if I ask another silly question?
Not at all.
Recognize this?
Of course. It's the palimpsest. Where did you get it?
Is that Rêve d'amour you're wearing?
The perfume? Yes, I use it all the time.
Did you use it last night?
Why do you ask?
Would you mind telling me where you were last night?
I say, why all the questions?
Oh, just curious.
I really don't understand what this is all about. If you want to know, I spent the entire evening at home.
Alone? You didn't go out at all?
Don't you think you're carrying this too far? She said she didn't. Isn't that good enough? What are you trying to do? Insinuate that she murdered Vane?
Did you?
No. Why should I?
You believe he killed your father?
I don't know.
See here, this is a bit thick. Cynthia's no more a murderer than I am. What's more to the point is that parchment. Where'd you get it?
I found it. The 13 soldiers pictured in this drawing. 2 of them identical with those I got from Philip. Can you pick out the 2 that your father had?
Yes. This one and that one.
Mm-hmm. Edgar the Eathling and Mulcair, Earl of Northumbria.
How do you know?
From what I read here, plus a little research.
You know the significance of the soldiers?
I believe I do. The 13 soldiers are representations of the last Anglo-Saxon leaders at the time William the Conqueror invaded England. Here at the head of them stands Harold, last of the Anglo-Saxon kings. His brothers, nobles, King Malcolm of Scotland, Margaret his queen, and the housecarls, the royal bodyguard.
That's all very interesting, but what of it?
Before Harold and his dynasty fell at the Battle of Hastings, he took the precaution of gathering together the royal treasures and hiding them in one of his manor houses on the outskirts of London to prevent their falling into the hands of William. He made a record of the hiding place on parchment and distributed to his brothers and chief nobles the 13 hand-worked lead soldiers which constituted the key, the cipher to the hidden wealth, any one soldier being valueless without the others.
That is quite interesting.
Yes. Now, we know that Harold and his followers were all wiped out at Hastings. Since no one realized their significance, the 13 soldiers became dispersed and for generations were regarded as simply toys. As for this page of parchment, which told the story, the original text was covered over by the monks, according to the general practice at that time, and the parchment was used and reused for hundreds of years. Eventually, it fell into the hands of your father, who removed the later writings and brought out the original again by the use of chemicals, probably hydrosulfate of ammonia. You better take good care of this. The police will probably want to see it.
What became of the treasure?
For all I know, it's still there,
In the London Manor House?
if it still exists.
How would you go about finding it?
I looked it up on an old map. It's quite clearly marked.
You mean the house is still standing?
I intend to find out right now. Would you care to come along?
We'd love to.
Come on. According to the map, this is it.
This may be the spot, but that's not the house.
It looks awfully old.
It would have to be 900 years old. I wouldn't call it over 200. If I'm any judge of architecture, I'd say George I.
I'm inclined to agree with you. However, let's get out and take a closer look.
Shall we go in?
Why not? May even pick up a bargain.
There can't be anyone inside. It's closed for the night.
Once more, just for luck. Besides, it's fun. I haven't heard so much noise since the war.
What is it? What do you want?
It's customers.
What do you want to buy?
Something expensive.
Oh, does it have to be tonight?
Definitely. It's for a wealthy old aunt. It's her birthday. And if we don't get her something tonight, she may die tomorrow after cutting us out of her will. Can't take any chances, you know.
Well, but what did you have in mind? Oh, something old and not too expensive. We'll have to look around.
Uh-huh. How about the lamp? I have some old Grecian lamps.
Waste of money. With her eyes, she might as well sit in the dark.
Well, how about clock? A nice watch here.
At her age? Don't be silly. Why does she need to know the time?
How about a brooch? A ring?
No. Jewelry on her would be like feathers on a horse. Besides, it's more than we want to spend.
We have some very inexpensive...
Well. What have we here?
The house may be George I, but the fireplace goes back farther than that.
All the way, quite possibly, to William the Conqueror. Both the fireplace and the foundation.
Please, do you want to buy something or don't you? I don't buy
Just occurred to me. She's quite a collector of antique toys. Soldiers and the like. Do you have anything of the sort?
Soldiers? Toy soldiers?
Yes. Especially lead ones. Do you have any?
No. I'm afraid I can't help you. Try someplace else.
Well, as long as we're here, we may as well look around.
No, please. It's late. I shouldn't have let you in the first place. I must ask you to leave.
Well, if you could give us just a few moments, we may find what we want.
There's nothing here you want.
You seem quite positive.
Please go away. Don't bother me. I know your type. This is your idea of a lock. Disturbing a man who's earned his rest.
We'll come back tomorrow, after you've had your rest.
Don't trouble, please.
What do you think? Well, he obviously knows something.
This is the right place, then.
Can't be any doubt about it. This is the end of the rainbow. And somewhere in the vicinity, there should be a pot of gold.
But how does one find it?
The 13 lead soldiers.
And whoever has them must eventually come here.
Exactly.
I hope you don't mind my bursting in, but I had to see you. It's important.
Come in. Would you care to... Oh. What's that for?
Just to convince you I'm serious, Captain Drummond.
Well, we're on equal ground. Neither of us is fooling the other.
I'm not fooling now. I want the palimpsest. I haven't much time. Return it, please. And hurry.
I'm afraid I can't. You see, I no longer have it.
Where is it?
I gave it back to its rightful owner, Miss Stedman.
You're lying.
If you can find it here, it's yours. Why do you want it? It's no good, you know, without the soldiers. Or do you have them?
Of course I don't. Do you?
You're welcome to them, too, if you can find them. Would you care to search? Go ahead. Don't let me stop you. Would it help if I turned my back and promised to remain perfectly still like a good little boy? Why don't you try that bookcase? That's a good place to begin. You know, this may take some time, and I don't want to rush you. Will it be all right if I sit down and make myself comfortable? Will you have a cigarette?
No, thank you.
By the way, that reminds me. While you're looking around, will you keep an eye open for a meerschaum pipe? It's been missing for some weeks, and I'd be very grateful if you found it. And then there's a letter from my solicitor, which I appear to have mislaid. Oh, sorry. However, if you come across a small packet tied up with blue ribbon, it's rather confidential. So if it's all the same to you... Oh, this is rather nice, isn't it? Oh, there's a drawer in this table by the wall. By Jove, I'll bet you that's where I left my pipe. Take a look, will you, like a good girl? I was right.
I'll make a bargain with you.
Yes?
The palimpsest for the pipe.
I would if I had it. Wouldn't you consider something else?
I might. Perhaps in exchange for information.
What do you want to know?
What were you doing at the antique shop?
How do you know I was there?
I saw you.
What were you doing there?
It's my father's shop.
So I'm not the only one who's been masquerading under a false identity, Miss Prager. Your father knows about the treasure?
That's why he bought the shop. He has 9 of the soldiers. He needs the other 4 and the palanquin.
And so he made a bargain with Vane to help him get them.
They're not to commit murder. That was Vane's idea when Stedman refused to sell. We were horrified when we learned what he had done.
Then why didn't you report it to the police?
It was too late to undo the murder, and we realized, under the law, we'd be equally guilty as accessories.
Also, you still wanted to get your hands on that treasure. And reading that I had the remaining soldiers, you arranged with Vane to steal them.
That was a mistake.
Who killed him?
I don't know, but whoever did took the soldiers.
So you were there. That was your perfume. And it was you who threw the knife at us?
I didn't know who you were, and I was frightened. I just discovered Vane's body. For all I knew, you were his murderer.
Let's go and visit your father.
This was your case.
Not this part of it.
Prager is the name, Mr. Longworth.
Oh. We followed Miss Stedman here. She just went into the shop.
Alone?
Yes, sir.
When?
A few minutes ago.
I have a key to the back door.
Good.
Wait here.
and tell him you've caught the murderer.
I have?
And Seymour, ask him if he's not too busy. Would you mind coming down and taking him off our hands?
Murderer?
First Vane and then tonight.
Then it was you who killed my father.
Don't be a fool.
I've nothing to lose now. If I have to take your life to get his, I can well afford both.
Thank you. Here, keep an eye on him.
Hello, Scotland Yard.
Cynthia. Cynthia,
I'm all right now.
what happened? What brought you here?
Philip called me, asked me to meet him here. He said it was very important, but he couldn't explain on the phone. He told me to bring the palimpsest. When I arrived, someone hit me.
Philip, you're lucky he didn't kill you, as he did the others.
I say, Hugh! Where are you?
Here we are. Did you get MacIver?
Yes.
Can't we have some light, Hugh?
Oh, yes, right here.
The soldiers!
Oh, 13 of them.
Well, there they are, Hugh. What happens now?
Well, it's quite simple. All one has to do is to arrange the soldiers on this pedestal here exactly as they are in the illustration. It's just as I thought. No two of these weigh alike. The key to it is the correct distribution of their respective weights. You know, Philip, your great mistake was bringing your two soldiers to me, hoping to use me as bait to help you get the others. Because once I suspected you, I got the idea of baiting a trap for you. Forgive me, my dear, for using you as the hook on which to place the bait. This palimpsest, which I knew Philip would need once he had all the soldiers. It worked. You should have been more patient. You had the right idea, but this thing's 900 years old. You just didn't wait long enough for the counterweights to drop. And this, if I'm not mistaken, is where the rainbow actually ends. Let's go down and see. Harold's treasure room. Amazing. After 900 years. Doesn't seem to be locked.
Can I help you?
No, it's all right, Seymour. I think I can manage.
See if there's a back entrance.
Yes, sir. There's a body back here. Go on, Archie. Get him out of there. Thanks, Mac. If you hadn't put that weight back, we might have been trapped down there for another 900 years.
Oh, Algy.
Yes? If I broke it to you gently, do you think you could stand another shock? Mm-hmm. He's Algy. I'm Drummond.
I'm so glad.
I said we don't understand. I don't know why. Molly has a bottle of milk in the morning. Nothing ever happens to me but a bottle of milk and the morning paper.